So yeah, this is a bit of a challenge today. I'm going to try to walk home, and it's about 15 kilometers. So we'll see how I go. I've got my Reeboks on, I've got my walking shoes on. So I'm excited, you know, and I'm going to try and take some really like shaded ways. So here we go. A little bit of like vernacular architecture there. And yeah, I'm going to walk ahead now about 2 kilometers maybe, and there's a shop there, so I'll buy a bottle of water there and I'll drink it there. And then there's a canal about 200 or 300 meters away, and I'll follow the canal. I guess that'll take me about 5 kilometers, and then from that point on I'll have a couple of decisions to make. But stick with me and you'll see a fair bit of the city. Hopefully you'll see some interesting places. A little park here and a little sheltered area where they cut hair and fix bicycles. So yeah, that's all vines. Interesting design feature, the arches on those buildings, quite imaginative. So yeah, I'm still going, and yeah, I've just got a few hundred meters to that shop, and then I'll be walking along the canal. So yeah, it's always like the first part of a walk, it's always like, oh, maybe I should just get a bus or something like that, but I've just always wanted to do it, and it'll be too hot in like a little while, so this is kind of my last opportunity to try to walk home. So the journey continues. So yeah, I've got a very big bottle of water there, and I've bought a coffee as well. So I'll drink the coffee and have some of the water, and yeah, hit the road. So that is the shop. Yeah, it's a Chinese convenience store. It's pretty good. You know, there's a lot of them around. I don't go to them as much as I used to, but I go to them a lot, and they're pretty good. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. So I'm here now. So now I have to follow. I don't have to do anything, but now I can follow this all the way down to the bottom there, and it's about 4.5 kilometers along this canal, and then I'm going to keep following a smaller canal, but now I have some shade. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy, and this canal section will probably be the best section. So let's go, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in this section. Yeah, it already feels cooler. It already feels a lot cooler. Yeah, I'm kind of really passionate about the canals. I just love them. I really love the canals a lot. And if I could, I would live beside this canal. But it's so hard, you know, like there's so many places, and every time I find a place that I really want to live, I find somewhere better. And you know, that's China. That's China. That's what it's like. But yeah, I'll get to the end here, and I'll say g'day. I'll say g'day again. Yeah, I'm just waiting to cross at this intersection, and the radiant heat from the road and the general heat without the cooling down of the trees and probably of the canal, it's really, really, really noticeable. It's at least, I mean, look, I'm not a walking thermometer, but it's at least, I would say, 6 degrees or more hotter at this intersection. But yeah, I have to cross this intersection to keep going, so I'm just waiting for the light. It's always best to wait for the light. It's best to wait for the light, especially, you know, when you're making videos, because people pick up on these things. You do, and you get these goody two shoes types that never jaywalk, never run through red lights, and they might be really nice people, but it just triggers them. So yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, so these men are pruning the trees, and looks like a branch has broken down, so maybe that's what brought them here. But yeah, they're pruning the trees. It's a little bit more sort of like ghetto, this little section, but it's still better than walking on a busy road. Hello, ni hao. La shu. So yeah, nice of those men to say hello to me. But what I said was like la shu, you know, which is like cut tree, but I don't think they understood what I said. Which is a bit sad, but can't always record wonderful interactions with people. It's just not how it works. But yeah, I'm starting to get to that point where I feel like I've nearly got to the halfway mark. I haven't actually. I think the halfway mark is about 2 kilometers east of, you know, the technical high. The technical half past mark is about 2 kilometers east of the end of the canal, where there's a large general hospital. But I just feel now like I've kind of achieved something. Like I feel like I've walked quite a long way now, because I've walked like nearly 4 kilometers probably, and it just feels like I'm into it, you know, like I'm starting to feel really like a cool person who like walks around, who walks long distances. So yeah, and I'm glad I had that coffee, because that definitely gave me a boost. Even though it was just a black coffee, it's still that little boost of caffeine. And yeah, not to lose sight of the canal, you know, I am walking beside the canal, next to the canal. And at this general hospital, or maybe when I find a nice place a few 100 meters ahead, I'll sip some more water because it is hot, you know, and it's good to keep hydrated. That water was about 50 cents if anyone's interested. So yeah, about 50 cents. So not very expensive at all. And like, that's the thing, man, like I was talking about prices in a video yesterday that I made just about why I don't want to live in Australia. And like, even water, like how much is water in Australia? It's unbelievable, like for a bottle of water. But I guess you don't have to drink bottles of water in Australia. You can just drink straight from the tap. But anyway, I'll pick it up again when I'm at the next turn. So yeah, I found this little path, and yeah, I'm in no hurry. So it's just really nice to have the time to just walk along and see some more of the city. And I have to say, like, all of these details that I'm noticing about the buildings and whatever, like when you're on a bicycle or a motorbike, but yeah, even when you're on a bicycle, you just don't notice as much. Like, walking is pretty cool, like especially in a foreign country, you know, like you just see so much when you walk around, and you notice so much. You get such a good idea of what's going on. And yeah, I'm one of those people who rode around on electric bikes, and then I started to ride my bike around, and I thought I knew the city pretty well. Like, I thought I knew a lot about the city. I thought I was a bit of an expert, but now that I'm walking, I'm just noticing so much more than before. I definitely don't regret my time on the bicycle, but I'm just really enjoying seeing the city on foot. Coming up to another bridge, which means another intersection, and I might sip a little bit of that water before the intersection, just so that I'm fully hydrated before I cross the intersection. Not that it's really necessary, but just to remain at maximum comfort levels. I mean, I could not drink all day, but just to maintain the maximum comfort levels, I'll stop before this intersection and have a little bit more water. So I'll see you after this intersection. Okay, so the canal is blocked up ahead. The path beside the canal is blocked up ahead because this is what the Chinese are like. They're always doing something, and it looks like it's hard to tell what they're doing, to be honest, and I could sit here all day and speculate, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around that way and then cross that bridge and try to continue on, because I think I'm pretty close to my turn. So that's what I'll do. But yeah, I mean, look, that's one of the really great things about living in China, because there's a lot going on. There's always a new project underway, and it's quite similar to Melbourne, really. I mean, I liked living in Melbourne because I liked seeing all of the activity. It's typical of city life, of modern city life, but especially in China, you know, there's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on. Okay, and walking around this way, I've got to see a lot of flowers, so that's pretty cool. And then what I'm walking on now is this strip for people with low vision, but unfortunately, people, I'll say my piece, you know, people park over them frequently, so that doesn't help. But then also, people with low vision are kind of usually shut away in their homes. They don't often venture out. It's very, very rare to see someone with a walking cane or something like that. And yeah, definitely worth a shot. These lovely roses. Definitely worth a shot. Yeah, so there's this whole like 200 meters of these strange colored roses. I'm not even sure what you would call them. They're sort of yellow and orange, I suppose. But yeah, quite interesting, quite lovely. Just goes on and on and on. On and on and on. So this is another canal that I can follow. So I've gone past the hospital, I've gone past that work, and now I'm going to head over there. So I've got to cross here and head up there, and I should be able to go along here until I get to those buildings in the distance, which is another, I guess, 2 or 3 kilometers. Again, I'm not an odometer, but I think it's about 2, maybe 3 kilometers. So yeah, time to do it. And yeah, this is pretty cool. This is lovely. So I'm just on the northern side of the canal and just walking along. So you can see the canal there. And yeah, I do have my hammock with me. You know, I could take a break for a little while if I wanted to. Little electric vehicle here, and yeah, it's fairly shaded. It's really cool here, as in it's really cool here. I mean, it's true both ways. It's cool and it's cool, but temperature wise it's a lot cooler here. I can literally feel the coolness of the canal over there, reducing the temperature. There's just a feeling of moisture in the air, a very, very light feeling of moisture. And it's a cool place, you know, it's a groovy place. And as I said, I mean, you can walk along here all year round, but it's going to be like really hot very, very soon. The spring is like super short, so it's really good, like if you want to do these kinds of things, like if you want to do these kinds of missions where you're walking here or you're riding there, you've got a narrow window to do it in. But I'm going to walk around. I'm going to keep walking around. But I'll just have to like take more water breaks and reduce the amount of clothing that I'm wearing. Like at the moment I'm wearing trousers, So I should be in shorts. I should really be in shorts, but I'm in trousers. And I don't have a broad-brimmed hat with me at the moment, so all of those things have to be done before you can walk around in the 35, 36 degree heat. Okay, so the next time I see you, I'll be turning and I'll be going past that water, sorry, pardon me, it's not a water tower, it's a TV tower, and that is the 4th largest building in Asia, so it's pretty tall. So yeah, the path continues. And the path now is outside Nankai University, which is a really famous university, and one of the famous people in history, not to get political, but everybody knows about Mao Zedong, or Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong. But his right-hand man, Zhou Enlai, he, who is in some ways like, particularly amongst urban Chinese, like, and particularly in this city, due to his connection with it, it's hard to say whether he's more popular than Mr. Mao, but he's sort of like almost like beyond reproach. Like, it's not common to find anyone who has anything like negative to say about him. And yeah, he's definitely like celebrated at Nankai University. He's like their most, well, he's certainly their most famous alumni, that's for sure. And yeah, there's a statue of him in the university. And yeah, I often think what those guys would make of the new China. I mean, a lot of people have the assumption that they would be disappointed with what has arguably been a break from many of the core principles of socialism. But it is impossible to say what they would make of the modern China. But I think that in many ways I'd be surprised if they were disappointed. I mean, they might be disappointed that some parts of the country that they consider to be a part of the country are not necessarily a part of the country, and that's all I'll say about that. But I think in terms of like China's national status and China's wealth and China's position in the world, oh, this is a big tree, lovely tree, I'd be very surprised if they were not quite happy about all of that. Okay, so that is a bit annoying. Even if I get around, I mean, it's not impossible. I could get around that. It would be a bit risky, but I could get around it. Even if I could get around all of that, I'm not sure that there's any further outcome. So yeah, and getting around that next one up there would be a little bit tough. And I'm definitely breaking the law, so I'll have to go around. I'll have to go back to that ridge, and I'll just have to do it. It has to be done. This is how life is sometimes. And yeah, I'll enjoy walking back though. It's a lovely path. Walking back. walking back. But yeah, I do hope they extend this trail all the way around, because I did think that it used to wrap around, but it can't have. Yeah, it must have always gone through, entered into the university there, and continued through the university. But yeah, walking back. Okay, so I'm walking on the other side of the canal now, and there isn't any shade, and I'm walking against the flow of traffic. It's noisy, but I should only have to put up with this for well, it's not too bad, it's fine. But I should only have another kilometer of this, and then I will maybe 1.5 kilometers of this, and there you go. That's 2 ways to pronounce kilometer and kilometer. And then I can get onto another canal and pretty much follow that for 3 or 4 kilometers, and that, as far as I know, is completely unobstructed, and that will be really lovely. So I've just got to march through this, get through it, and yeah, so I'm just about to turn in about 600 meters, and yeah, I've been walking for almost 2 hours now. Yeah, more than 2 hours. So it goes to show, in a flat city, walking for 2 hours, it's not such a big deal. As long as you're hydrated and in good health or whatever, it's not a big deal. I estimate it'll take about 2 more hours. I think this is technically the halfway point. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm starting to feel like a pretty cool guy, because this is not my neighborhood. This is not where I live, but it's not a long way from where I live. It's only maybe 6 or 7, 8 kilometers from where I live. So I'm getting pretty close to where I would say, you know what? I'm pretty close to home. So yeah, anyway, I'll continue. So there is the TV tower. I'm getting close to that. So I'll be following this canal. And I have decided, because my phone battery is getting a bit low, and because because I'm a little bit old and I'm a little bit smart, I've decided there's a Starbucks up here, and I've decided to charge my phone and have a rest until my phone's charged, and then continue on.你好，过不去？
过不去。
知道。
你到那桥那边才。
啊，知道，谢谢你。So yeah, I'll have to go around the other side of the canal. Yeah, so I mean, if I was Chinese, I might be a little bit of a canal activist. So if you're a Chinese person who watches my channel, let's keep the canals open, let's make them all pedestrian thoroughfares, insofar as is practically possible. Now that is the TV tower, And that is the canal that I will follow. That will take me nearly all the way home. But I'm not going along there right now. Right now I'm going along here. And as I said, I'm going to charge my phone and have a rest, sip a coffee, sip an American coffee, and then continue the journey. Continue the journey after my phone is charged. And yeah, I should be fairly well rested by then. It will probably take about half an hour to 40 minutes to charge my phone up to 70%. And yeah, I should be feeling pretty good by then. Yeah, so I'm in this this new development, just walking through it, and the Starbucks I'm going to is through this what would you call this? Through this arch or something. It's like an arch, isn't it? Through this arch. My English is getting really bad. And then I turn right. So yeah, I remember when this was being built, and it's a pretty high quality development. I mean, it looks quite good. If I had a lot of money, if money wasn't an issue, would I live here? Probably not. Probably not. Just because it seems a little bit sterile. But a lot of people want to live in these places, you know, like they are places where most Chinese people want to live. And yeah, I guess the only circumstances in which I would live here is if I could either live here for free, or if living here would make my wife really happy, you know. So those are pretty much the only two circumstances, because I just really love older communities. These are good for some people, but I like to walk into where I live. I don't like to get an elevator. I just like to walk right in, and I just like older communities, you know. I feel like this would be like living in a hotel. But for other people, no problem. I have no issue with other people living in these places, and I'm sure I could get used to it, but I can't afford to live here, so it's not a big issue. It's not like a moral dilemma. But yeah, this place is good because it does have a place where I can charge my phone and get a coffee. So that's what it represents to me. And there we have it. There's the Hard Rock Cafe. It's a very expensive place with not very good food, but yeah. And then this is the Starbucks. So, and I just realized living here would actually be kind of cool because you're really close to the water park, and that's the water park over there. So it's a really big park. So that would be cool. Yeah, living close to the water park would be good. That would be good. Yeah, I've changed my mind. I would definitely live here. So if someone wants to donate the money for me to buy a house here, buy an apartment here, I'll do it. I will do it. I've changed my mind. Because yeah, living across from the water park would be pretty nice. And people swim there in the mornings. They often swim there. So yeah, it's a special place. It's definitely a special place. in the colonial times or the imperial times or whatever you would call it, they used to have a golf course there, and then it became like this big like national project or this big city project to create like a lovely place for normal people to relax and have fun. And it's really beautiful. It's got lots of islands and a big lake. Yeah, I'll make a video about it eventually. Okay, this might have to be the end of the video because I didn't bring a charger, and yeah, I forgot my charger, and I'm just too independent and too, I guess I'm too proud to like ask someone for a charger. Yeah, I don't want to like buy a charger, so yeah, this could be the end of the video, but it's been fun, and I am going to continue walking home for my own benefit. But yeah, this will have to be the end of the video probably. So yeah, I was able to charge my phone at the Starbucks. This guy helped me. There's like a community of people who bought iPhone 12 minis who are sort of helping each other, you know, like it's pretty funny because I mean, this is not a phone review, but the battery, it's not great. And yeah, this guy helped me to charge my phone. So I had a coffee, I read a lot of my book, I just chatted to a lady then about some work, and I'm following the canal. Like I'm following the canal, and I'm really close to the TV tower now, this big TV tower, so huge. Definitely plan to make a designated video about that. And yeah, about to turn left and follow the canal proper, and I'll see you there. I'll see you when I'm at the next stage of the canal. Fourth tallest tower in Asia, so it's a big tower. So this is it. This is the canal. So I will follow this canal south all the way to pretty close to where I live. And then there's another canal that I can follow. And I have to say that after my coffee and resting for a little bit, I feel really good. I feel great. I feel like I've just set out, but I have more energy than when I just set out. I feel great. So yeah, continuing on, and that's a lovely square. So yeah, wow, that's a big tree. It's a very big tree, very big tree, lovely big willow tree. Reminds me of a place in Australia called Bell's Parade, in a place called La Trobe, in a place called Tasmania, where I went to school, where I went to high school, and where my grandfather was born, where my great-grandmother was born. I think she was born there. But yeah, it's a nice place, nice little town, and it's got a lot of big willows, like this. The journey continues. The journey continues. And yeah, this is definitely a nice part of town. It's a salubrious area, and I remember my uncle used that word with me, and he's a lawyer, and I thought that's a pretty cool word. I said to him, what does that mean? And he said, well, that's a nice part of a city. And I was like, oh, okay. And I've never forgotten it. I was a little kid when he said that word. And I always had a pretty good memory for words, especially words my favorite uncle said. But yeah, this is the perfect definition of that word, because the houses here are really expensive, and we're getting close to like where all of the top government people live. There's like a compound I can't go in there. I've never been in there. But I think some big business people can go in there and enter it freely, but when you're just an English teacher, you can't go in there. But yeah, around here like is definitely the nicer, one of the best areas of Tianjin, and that's why this park is so lovely. But but yeah, you don't really notice a big difference between where the richer areas and the poorer areas are, or the lower income areas are in Tianjin, because you'll see Audis and stuff everywhere. But yeah, if I did walk into that community, you would definitely see most of the cars would be more expensive cars than where I live. But there are Range Rovers where I live, and there are Audis where I live, and there are really expensive cars where I live. And in that community, I'm just looking at the cars now, I can see a few Chinese cars, I can see a few older cars. So it's not just a matter of where I live. But yeah, I can see over there, there's like a couple of big Nissan four-wheel drives, Toyota four-wheel drives. Those are $200,000 cars in China. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are. And yeah, I'm enjoying this walk. I'm starting to feel like I've nearly achieved my goal. But yeah, I've still got a long way to go. But I can't see myself not making it now. And I've undersold myself a little bit, because I realized before that even though the most direct route from where I was to home is about 16 kilometers, the way that I'm walking is like over 20 kilometers. So I'm really walking 20 kilometers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to title this video 20 kilometers, walking 20 kilometers across a city, because that's what it is. You know, that's what I've done. That's what I'm doing. Now, some people might say that going into a Starbucks and resting for an hour is cheating, but I'm 38 years old. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break when I need to take a break. And if people want to judge me for that, go ahead and judge me. But not only am I 38 years old, but I taught all morning. I taught 4 classes, so I think I deserved a break. But yeah, look at that canal. I just love the canals so much. They are really special. They're really beautiful. They are amazing. To me, they're amazing. And I love these little paths. But yeah, you do have to be careful on these little paths, because whoa, it's a pretty big hole. And yeah, quite a brightly coloured gate. Yeah, looks like it's just been repainted, so that's pretty good. And yeah, that is a Rolls Royce. And yeah, the path continues. And yeah, some really lovely big trees here. And it looks really great. This looks great. I'm really enjoying this. It's lovely. And look at this structure, covered in vines, really beautiful. And the canal just there. And yeah, this walk has really shown me just how possible it is to like see beautiful things and to bring beauty into your life. No matter where you're living, you know, you can find the nice way to walk, you can find the interesting places. If you go out of your way, you can do it. Pretty big tree. Yeah, that's a really lovely big tree. And behind there is like a big park. There were lots of people there. Not lots of people, there was about a dozen people there. And then look at this tree as well. Another willow. And lots of seating. Big tree here. And this is what you get. You know, this is what you get from just following the canal. It's fantastic. And this park, it's kind of a little bit 80s style, you know. It's kind of like got a bit of a style to it. It was probably built in the early 2000s, but and then yeah, you've got a lot of men up here. There's a lot of men up here playing cards. So I'll stop recording now because you never know. They're old guys, but I just don't want to record them playing cards. Quite a surreal experience walking through this strange place. Another bridge, and the road continues past this supermarket. Yeah, I think I can walk beside the canal, but I might just go this way. This is a big supermarket. It's a big, just general supermarket. And yeah, it's a big supermarket. And again, you know, like, this is a pretty nice area, so a lot of the people would shop here as their primary supermarket. But it is funny, like, I remember the Australian government was sort of talking about closing down the wet markets in China. And there's a man working on his truck. He's got his tools out. But yeah, it would be so impossible because like only a few areas have these supermarkets. Like most areas have just general wet markets, you know, that's how people live, so. And yeah, continuing along the canal. If I'm being totally honest, I would have to kind of say that I'm kind of wishing it was over. But but I just know that like if I did quit now, I would just like feel like a bit of a loser. So you've got to get the victories where you can. And yeah, I knew it would get to this point. I mean, I could go and get a few Coca-Colas or eat some chocolates or something, but you know, I'm just going to keep going because this is how it is, you know, it's just how it is. But yeah, I knew it would get to this point where I would get a bit sick of it. And 20 kilometers is a long way. So I've done about, I guess, 15 now probably. So I'm about 4 kilometers from home. And yeah, I've just got to keep going, you know, like I can't just start crying or whatever. I've got to keep going. And yeah, they're getting ready to put up this banner about the World Intelligence Congress. So yeah, I will be a bit offended if I don't get an invite, but yeah, I'll have to live with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get like 2 kilometers done, and yeah, then see where I am. So I'm not going to give up. There's no way I'm going to give up, because it would just be a pathetic story if I gave up now. It would just be ridiculous. So yeah, going to get those kilometers done, and yeah, I'll see you when those are done. Okay, so I'm going to walk along that road. I'm going to walk down that road, and I'm very familiar with this area. I'm about 5 kilometers from home now. So yeah, I've made up my mind. I'm just going to stroll. And yeah, I think these next 3 kilometers will go pretty fast, because this park is quite lovely, and even though I've been past it many times, I've never been into it, so I think it'll be quite interesting for me. You know, when you're cruising around new places, it's pretty cool. I tell you what crushes you in this kind of like walking around business, it's when you're just like on some street, you know, and it's noisy and it's grim. That's when you start to question what you're doing. That's when you start to feel tired. But I almost have like an infinite energy for like these areas where it's like really lovely and stuff, and peaceful and quiet, and yeah. But back there on the road when I was coming past the bus stop, I wasn't going to give up, because I'm too stubborn. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm stubborn. And it's probably, if somebody asked me like, what do you like most about yourself? Like, I definitely don't hate myself. Like, I don't have any self-hatred or anything, but if I was to point out like the thing that I really admire, like almost admire, like not almost, I do admire about myself, it would be my stubbornness. Like, I'm very, very stubborn. I just don't give up. And I guess that's a quality that a lot of people have, but it's definitely something that I feel very grateful. I feel very grateful to be so stubborn. If I wasn't so stubborn, I wouldn't be able to walk 20 kilometers, you know, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things. So I'm very grateful to be stubborn. And yeah, there were some people just back there trying to sell houses. I don't know if you can see the lady with the board, but yeah, trying to sell houses. And in Australia, you might think it's kind of, if you saw like a real estate agent from LJ Hooker or what's the other one? Roberts Real Estate. There are so many of them. If you saw someone from like one of those companies in a park, like with a little board, you'd think that was very strange, but in China it's common. It's where people go, so that's where they go to try to attract their attention. And yeah, some people familiar with my work, familiar with my videos, they might remember I went into this park. That's the park over there. So now I'm on the opposite side. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good now. I've got my second wind. And yeah, this is pretty cool. Some flowers and some terracotta pots. It's pretty cool. Some things. I think they have a special name actually. There's the canal, and it continues. The journey continues. And yeah, this is a lovely section, and with all of these pine trees, and I've just realized what I will title this video. I won't title it to do with China. I'll title it Overweight Guy Walks 20 Kilometers Home. That might appeal to a larger audience. I am overweight, I am overweight. I'm not obese. I think that's incorrect to say that I'm obese. I'm certainly not morbidly obese. But I am overweight. I'm probably about 5 or 6 kilograms, maybe even 10 kilograms overweight. And that's just being honest, like I don't need someone to say, no, you're not, you're beautiful. I mean, I'm pretty cool, but I am a bit overweight. So I think it's remarkable that an overweight middle-aged man has decided to walk 20 kilometers home. But yeah, I really am, like, even though this path is beautiful, I'm still like, I just had this feeling then. I just went around a street area then, so that's what always gets me down. But yeah, I think even in spite of the beauty of this place, just because I am like a middle-aged, overweight guy, I'm starting to just get a bit over it. And a part of the reason for that is because my legs are chafing in my trousers. And that's another thing about being overweight. Like, the more overweight you are, and it sounds like fairly obvious, but the more overweight you are, the more difficult it is to lose weight, because being mobile for long periods can be uncomfortable. And the same thing could be said of money. Like, the poorer you are, the more difficult it is to make money. And because you have to have money to buy like clothes to go to the job interview and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I guess like if I think about the reasons why I am overweight, I guess I would say that it's a combination. Like most people would say, it's a combination. So it's a combination, for me, it's a combination of alcohol and overeating. So when I used to drink alcohol, I used to drink a lot of beer. Like, I used to just drink beer. I never drank other alcohols. And everybody knows that alcohol is bad for your metabolism anyway, so that's a whole other level. But it just contains so many carbohydrates. So when I was like sitting around drinking beers, thinking I was the coolest guy in the world, I was putting on weight, I was gaining weight. And I was overeating as well, so sleeping poorly, all of those things that lead to people getting fat. I was doing all of those things. So I wasn't just doing some of those things, I was doing all of those things. And that's how I got fat. But yeah, now I don't drink. Now I'm exercising. And I'm not overeating. I should, even though I'm an older guy and I have a slower metabolism, I should start to lose weight, and I should be able to get to an optimal weight. If you're a scientific-minded person, you would assume that that's true. And I have pretty good genetics. I mean, no one in my family is too overweight. I don't have any obesity in my family, so I can kind of rely upon that. But yeah, everybody has their story. And food in China, it's so delicious, and the meals are so regular. It's easy to put on weight. It's easy. This is one of my favorite trees, so this should cheer me up. This tree is a beautiful tree. This big tree. It's a big, beautiful tree. It's a lovely tree. And yeah, I love this tree so much. I'm really on the home stretch now. I'm about 2 kilometers out from home. And I do really want to give up. Yeah, I do want to give up. I want to give up, but I'm not going to give up. And yeah, but the last couple of kilometers, that's always the hardest. It's always the most difficult. The start is difficult, and the last 2 kilometers are always difficult. Yeah, I just had to stop for a little bit. Yeah, I've just decided to rest for like 10 minutes and then keep going. Just rest for like 10 minutes and then keep going. But yeah, I won't give up now. I'm actually about 3 kilometers from home, not 2 kilometers. And yeah, that's how I could get home. I could get home in one of those, but I'm not going to give up. But yeah, I might have to do the next little bit, just like walk a kilometer, have a rest, walk a kilometer, have a rest. Because I'm just fully fucking over it, to be honest. And yeah, I'm just continuing on, getting closer with every step. And look, there's just something about walking. When I've been my healthiest, it's when I've been walking a lot. And I hear a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that they've never been healthier than when they've been walking a lot. And I remember when I was about 22 or 23, I was walking like 5 or 6 hours a day. And that's probably the healthiest I've ever been. And from a religious perspective, I mean, look, you can say that God made us to do this, you can say God made us to do that, but He very, very clearly made us to walk. We've got 2 legs. And look at the Bible, like everybody's walking everywhere. Obviously they didn't have buses then, or trains, or other modes of transport, but I mean, like, it is a book of walking. The Bible is a book of walking. Everyone's walking everywhere. And walking, you could say that walking is a big part of Christianity. I mean, Jesus and his disciples, I mean, they were walking around. The apostles and whatever, they were walking around. They were always on foot. I mean, Paul went on boat trips and stuff, but there was a lot of walking. They were walkers. And there's just something about walking. I hope walking can make me healthy. And yeah, maybe something really special can happen. Look at this, it's getting pretty grim. I've got to walk up this road for like another kilometer, and it's just like this. So yeah, this is like, couldn't come at a worse time, because it's the kind of, I want to give up looking at this stuff. But if I give up now, I don't get to get my victory. Okay, so I'm less than a kilometer away now, and I was just like singing some funny little simple melody like you do when you're really tired and you're a bit over it, but yeah, and that helped me to get through that last kilometer. And now, for some reason, like, I'm not faking it. For now, for some reason, every step I take feels like some step of victory. It feels like I'm some kind of hero returning from some special adventure. So I'm enjoying it. I'm going to enjoy this last kilometer, and I'll see you at home. The next time I see you will be at home. It will be where I live. And yeah, full moon, red moon, looks like a painting. So it's pretty cool. and nearly home, but not getting on the bus, continuing to go. Okay, this is the canal nearest to where I live, and it's about 1 kilometer away, so I'm very, very, very much nearly home now, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about it because I'm looking forward to getting home. I'm looking forward to having some tea, having some hot tea, and having something to eat. And yeah, I did it, and I'm really proud of myself. I did something I didn't think I'd be able to do, and yeah,